So we'll start. I'm going to get everybody to sit position of comfort. So you can have one shin in front of the other, or if it's more comfort or ease, you can have one heel in front of the other, or as you know, there's a few of them that prefer to have the legs straight forward. And if you want, you can sit on to chip blocks, whichever you decide. But to bring ourselves to sitting tall, I'm going to get you to take your hands and draw your sitting bones back. So as you draw your sitting bones back, your hips tilt forward. And then your hands just rest onto your thighs. So good morning as we all arrive for our practice together. I want you to be sitting tall, so very tall and proud. And with that familiarity, lift your shoulders up to your ears. I want you to keep them up. So as your shoulders are up, just your awareness of your strength and lifting. So all of your ribs float up. And then keep yourselves tall and just your shoulder blades slide down and your eyes just softly closed. And keeping your eyes closed, let's do it again. Lift your shoulders up. So activating your torso, squeezing everything up right to the crown of your head. And then again, your shoulders slide down. And as your shoulders slide down, see if you can almost lengthen your neck with the descending of your shoulder blades. And then as you're sitting tall, I want you to turn your palms up. So the back of your hands will rest onto your thighs, your lower thighs. And of course, your eyes are still closed. Very gently tuck your chin back just to ensure the front and the back of your neck is of equal length. With your lovely posture at the start of our practice. And feeling your surrounding, the quietness, or maybe the birds. And the awareness of your breath. So there's the observation of the in-breath to the out-breath. And then the direction and the fullness to breathe into all four sides of your torso. Let's actually have a sigh on the exhale. And the settling and the peacefulness. We're always aware at looking outside ourselves for strength and confidence. But it comes from within. It is there all the time. So your awareness of your confidence and your strength and allowing the ease. And keeping that flowing of your breath, place your fingertips down by your side. And as you root your fingertips down, lift your shoulders up again. So pressing fingers down, shoulders up, and then draw your shoulders back and down, and softly your palms connecting to the mat. With the rooting of your sitting bones, the grounding of your palms, take your left ear to your left shoulder. Now doing so, a little bit more of your left palm down, just to ensure your right sitting bone doesn't lift. Now keeping your ear to your shoulder, I want you to turn so your chin is towards your shoulder, as if you're looking just past the outer edges of your arm. And then, in this position, I want you to nod. So take your gaze forward towards the left side, and then your chin back up. So just gentle nodding, facing towards the left, really slow. That's one of those ones, the balance, the lifting and the lowering, but ensuring there's no pinching or tightness. So it's that balance that you find. And the next time you bring your chin back to horizontal, very slowly turn your face forward. Really slow. The slow movement of the neck. And then as your face is directly forward, your neck is long, take your right ear to your right shoulder. So just finding that nice tight spot and the seam on the side of your neck. And then gently direct your chin towards your right shoulder. And so again, just a little adjustments to find the tightness. And then when you find that tightness, ensure that you draw a breath in. And of course, the sigh on your exhale. And then keeping your chin over towards the right, I want you to nod. So looking directly towards the right. And then the releasing chin towards your right shoulder. So just really slowly. As so blending the smoothness of your breath, the smoothness of the movement of your chin, and allowing that lengthening of your neck. And the next time your chin is back to horizontal, then turn your face back forward. Keeping your eyes closed, I want you to just roll your shoulders a few times. So allow your arms to just softly hang. The lifting, the rolling. And then back to stillness. Remember, still sitting really tall. I want you to cross so you have your opposite shin in front of the other. As you guys know, we have a habit. So cross your opposite shin in front of the other. And again, cross the opposite way. Draw your sitting bones back. So you're still sitting tall, opposite crossing. And of course, your eyes are closed. Your neck is long. Lift your shoulders up. And with a full sigh, let them drop down. Give them a little shake, shake. Gently now bring your palms together and into heart center. And nicely interweave your fingers. And then press your palms away. So keep your neck long, your jawbone horizontal. And keeping with your fingers interwoven, lift them up to the sky. So there'll be a little bit of bending of your elbows. And then I want you to take gaze up. So looking right towards the palms or interwoven fingers, having the ends of your thumbs together. And then take your arms forward. Your gaze following of your hands. And then when your arms are horizontal, open them up to the side. Now we're going to have a hug. So I want you to cross your left arm over your right and give yourselves a hug. So you're holding on to opposite shoulders. Tuck your chin in and give yourselves a little bit of movement. Chin towards your chest, and your hands are drawing your shoulder blades apart. So you have space between your shoulder blades and your spine. And then bring your head back up, jawbone horizontal, and open your arms back to the side, out. So both of your arms are horizontal, and we're going to cross. So cross your opposite, your right underneath your left, and give yourselves a hug again. So even as you're hugging, draw your belly button towards your spine. So you've got that stability and straightness, and then draw your chin towards your chest. And just a very gentle rocking. And see if you can actually breathe into your back. So you're giving that space, those intercostal muscles between your ribs, giving it space. And then draw your head up arms out to the side. And then just lower them down. Shake, shake. So I'm going to get you to lie down onto your back. So lying onto your back, draw your knees into your chest. And then as you know, that lovely rocking side to side. And just laying down with the movement, just sort of that connection, the back surface of your shoulder blades, the back of your hips, the length of your spine. Now keep your right knee into your chest, and with your left knee bent, lower it down to the mat. So your heel will be near your sitting bones. And then take your hands behind the back of your thigh, but interweave them the funny way, and slowly the growing and lifting of your leg up. Now it might not quite be vertical, but it's that first lifting. Now make sure the whole back surface of your body is onto your mat. Your lifted leg is long and strong. And then let's just do some ankle movement. So slow circles. See if you can have the opening of your toes, and then maybe the squeezing of your toes. Always, as you know, directing of lengthening the back of your leg up to vertical. It might not be there. We're just our initial first opening. And then bring your ankle, stillness. We're going to prep for thread the needle. So take your right ankle above your left knee. The only adjustment is your right hand onto your right thigh and press it away. And then just the assistance of the opening. Make sure you keep your left foot down. And have a full big breath into the front of your body. And a full exhale out of the front of your body. So just allow your belly button towards your spine, squeezing of your breath out. This time as your breath in, see if you can breathe into the back of your body. Shoulder blades slide apart. And exhale the settling. And then just take yourself back to the rhythm, the slowness of your breath, initial opening of the hip. I'll get you to unwind and place your feet on the outer edge of your mat so your knees stay bent, and just sway your knees side to side. And then come back to stillness. So keep your knees bent, but having your feet hip distance apart. And then with your fingers, interwoven funny, place them behind the back of your opposite leg, your left leg. So your hands are cradling the back of your thigh, and slowly start to straighten of your leg up. Really slowly, not sprinting, more strolling. And then, as before, moving of your ankle. Slow movement. So that slow movement of the ankle, reminding the importance of not just movement, but strength through the ankles for each of our standing, stepping movement. And then we're going to prep for thread the needle. So place your left ankle onto your right knee, and then moving of your left thigh away, just to ensure that you have equal lengthening of both sides of your torso. And then just the settling. And then your surrounding. Eyes closed, and just feel the peacefulness of the surrounding in your spot for your practice. Okay, let's all unwind. Feet again on the outer edge of your mat and the windshield wiping. Just putting a little bit of movement through the hips. And then as you're ready, bring yourselves into sitting upright. So as you know, you can roll over to the right or you can pop yourselves up to sitting upright. And I want you to extend your legs forward. So it's a flattening of the back of your legs, inner edges of your ankles together. As before, take your sitting bones, draw them back, and place your thumbs into the pit of your arms and lift yourselves up. At the same time, your shoulders will rise, and then allow them to slide down, palms by the side of your hips. And then just sitting in stillness of Dandasana. Taking that opportunity, the awareness of the growing and the lifting of the front and the back of your spine. And then bend your knees and bring yourselves into table pose. So kneeling onto your mat, fingers flared open, your shoulders directly above your elbows, your knees are hip distance apart. And we're going to slowly travel into the cat and the cow, different levels through the body. So I want you to keep your shoulders completely still, your upper spine horizontal. The cat and the cow is just with your tail. So with your in-breath, I want you to lift your tailbone up. Your belly will softly lower down. Keep your shoulders still. And on the exhale, take your belly back towards your spine. So allowing the movement from the center of your spine down. And then just this slow movement. So you're blending together stillness and strength with movement and ease. Just the warming up, the lower spine, the lumbar part. And then at the end of your next exhale, bring your spine back to horizontal in stillness. And we're going to do cat and cow now with the upper. So I want stillness from your lower floating ribs to the back of your hips. And with your in-breath, move your chest forward and lift your chin up. And then with your exhale, chin towards your chest and slide your shoulder blades apart. So again, it's the movement, the stillness of your lower torso and the movement of your upper. And still allow that harmony of your in-breath with your out-breath. And then as you're ready, let's take ourselves into the full cat and cow. So your in-breath is lowering the whole front of your body, your tailbone floats, your heart moves forward. And then the exhale, your spine up to the sky, your head hangs, your tailbone down. And remember the harmony of your breath, the movement of your spine. Now, at the end of your next exhale, bring yourselves back to stillness and horizontal. Extend your left leg behind you, keeping the ball of your foot down, so stretching up the calf. Now, as you're doing so, I want you to take your hands forward, even more so towards the front of the mat. As you press your hands down and away, it gives more assistance of your heel towards the mat. Now, of course, it won't reach there. But just give that motion of down and away with your hands, the same as it's down and away with your heel. And then we'll just change sides. So settle your left shin down. Extend your right leg back, planting down the ball of your foot and growing. Now caring for your ankles and your heels. This is sort of the encouraging of the initial opening, but if you're feeling any strain, then just back off. Just a very gentle opening. It's always that listening to your body. So not a pose of achievement, more of the opening and the care. And then settle your knee back down. So you're back into table pose. And take your right arm and thread it underneath your left. Okay, so we're giving ourselves a little bit of that turning. So your head can be onto a block or on towards the mat. And then with your right hand underneath, just give a little bit of pulsing. So you're just putting a little bit more blood back in towards your wrist. And then let's change sides. So take yourselves back into table pose, and keeping your right hand rooted to the mat, take your left hand and thread it underneath your right. And then just as before, movement of your left hand just to put a little bit of juice into the joints. And then bring yourselves back into table pose. And I just want you to sway your hips side to side. So if it's uncomfortable with your wrists, as you know, you can be on towards your knuckles. You can even look over your shoulder towards your tail. And then back to center. Now again, ensure that you've got all four sides of your palms nicely pressed down, even the pads of your fingers, and tuck your toes under. Take your sitting bones back towards your heels and ensure your arms are really long and strong, and we're going to lift up and back into a downward facing dog. So lift your knees up and your head to hang. So the first one, you can walk your feet a little farther forward. As you know, it's lovely to go for a little bit of a walk. You can give your head a little shake, but looking between your ankles just to ensure that your head is descending. Arms are strong, so you've got all four sides of your palms rooted. Arms are long from the top of your arm bones into your shoulder socket. And then just bring yourselves into the stillness of downward facing dog. A little bit of rocking of your hips side to side. Now staying in downward dog, I want you to just very gently bend your knees and walk your hands back to your feet. So you'll be folded forward at the back of the mat and hold on to opposite elbows. And then again, take yourself to that soft swaying side to side. Place your hands now onto your hips and keep your knees soft, spine long, hinge to standing upright. And then your hands just hang by your side. And see if you can softly close your eyes. So taking yourselves from the grounding of the soles of your feet to the mat, the lifting of your thighs, strengthening through your legs, and continually ascending right to the crown of your head. Eyes closed. Just find that center and balance. Keep your eyes closed. Sweep your arms out to the side, lifting right up high to the sky. Fingers reaching. And then I want you to swan dive down. So arms out to the side, traveling all the way down to place your hands onto your thighs, your knees staying soft. In breath, lift up halfway. So keep your hands on your thighs, horizontalness of your spine. And exhale, melt down. Your hands can stay onto your thighs or your shins. Let's do another lovely little half lift. You want to sigh on your exhale, dropping down. We'll do it one more time. Hands on your legs, whichever height. Lovely. Half lift up. And then descend down. Place your hands onto your mat and take yourselves back forward into table pose. So just where we had been before. Elbows above your wrists, hips above your knees. And then again, as before, just sway your hips side to side. Bring yourselves back into center. I want you to step your left foot forward. So your left knee is bent into the low lunge. So you have the verticalness of your front shin. Okay. And just really make sure that you connect the top or all the toenails onto the mat. Place your hands onto your left knee. Press your left knee down and bring yourselves into the lunge. Couple of options. You can keep your hand onto your knee for balance, or take your hands behind your back and interweave your fingers and press them down. So the importance of not focusing just on balance, but more the opening. And then see if you can sink your front of your thigh a little farther down. So just make sure that your front knee has not gone ahead of the ankle. And maybe your gaze up. So lovely growing, smoothing out of the hip flexor. Ironing out all the time you spend sitting. And how's your breath? Ensure that it's full. It has the rhythm, the harmony, the in and the out. Release your fingers to place your hands down onto the mat or a firm block. And I just want you to, now, make sure you keep the whole sole of your front foot down and straighten your leg. So the sole of your extended front leg is staying glued to the mat. And then bend your knee forward. Again, take yourselves back to the lunge. And then this time, straightening of your front leg, peeling the sole of your foot up, and your head to settle into a little mini reversed. So your hands can be onto firm blocks, your knuckles onto your mat. Really extending and lengthening from your ankle to the length of your mat. If there's any discomfort under your front heel, then you can put a little blanket or a mat on it. And so it's that opposite direction. Imagine there's a strap drawing your hips back, and at the same time the crown of your head forward. And find that little sticky spot. And breathe. And connection of your shin and your hands, the front heel, that brings in the balance, focusing on lengthening. Keep your front leg extended forward just as it is, but I want you to direct your front little toes towards the mat. So you're giving that little external rotation and just sharing the opening, not just the center of the back of your leg, but threading into your inner thigh. Give your head a little shake. So ensure that you're not holding any tightness through your shoulders. You're allowing the ease, your bones stacked one on top of the other with your arms to give you the balance and the support. Keep your leg long, but turn it so your toes are up to the sky. Then bend your front knee and place your left hand onto your left knee and take your right arm out. We're going to do a little bit of a twist. So again, press your knee down and turn your torso towards the side. Okay. And you can keep your hand onto your knee or maybe placing your hand onto your sacrum. Take your gaze up. Always have the option perhaps of lifting of your arm up to vertical or keeping it onto your sacrum. or on towards your knee. Just sort of find that opening. But allow that growing. So remember the torso is long and strong. And then let's untwist. Place your hands back to the mat. And I want you to just sweep your front foot forward. No, your front foot back. Take yourself back into table pose. And a little bit of rocking side to side. And we'll just change sides. This time take your opposite foot forward, front knee bent, your back toenails grounded. Just keep that centering. So you can keep your front toes flared. And place your hand onto your knee and bring yourselves up. So you're giving yourselves that space between your torso and your thigh. Actually, that's all. Shoulders up, slide them back, and descend down. And then choose. You keep your hands onto your knee, or perhaps interweaving your fingers behind your back. So it's always that continual, opposed to dropping in, perhaps slowly opening your hip flexor a little more, or staying up. As you're doing so, ensure that your chest doesn't puff forward. It's more the growing through your chest bone up. At the same time, your tailbone down. Release your fingers now to place them onto the mat. And slowly, remember, keep all four sides of your front foot rooted and just the straightening of your leg. So it's just the initial, giving a little bit of opening of your front, your ankle. And then bend your knee forward. And then back. So your front leg is straightened. This time your toes up to the sky and your head just to hang. Again, using the firm blocks, whichever height for support. So even though your leg is extended, make sure the top of your thigh bone is plugged into your hip socket. So you have the neutralizing of the hips and the seam on the back of your neck lengthening. And it's always the scanning through the body. Your bent back leg, so your left shin is onto the mat. All 5 of your toenails rooted. They're growing, sort of encouraging your front leg that's extended, encouraging the back of your knee to be as long as the front. Now there still might be a little bit of a bend. Just find that, I say, the sweet spot is that opening. And keep your leg long. I just want you to externally rotate so your little toes are towards the mat. And then breathe. You sort of taking the alignment step by step into the pose. And then remember to breathe. So it's a slow breath into your nose. Dry, maybe cool, maybe warm in the sun. Let's actually just have a sigh on the exhale. Just releasing a tightness, a level of tightness to the back of your leg. And then turn, steering your toes up to the sky in your front. And then bend your front knee again. We're going to do the twist. So hand onto your right front knee, other hand a little bit out towards the side, and twist towards. Okay, so you're going, gazing towards your front bent knee. And you can choose your hand onto your knee, maybe your hand onto your sacrum, or maybe up into vertical. If you take your arm up to vertical, have a peek. Ensure that it's ascending. It's like a plumb line, the verticalness. Or your hands onto your sacrum or your knee, really caring for your lower back. And then I'll get you to unwind. This time, tuck your back toes under, and I want you to see if you can do 1 or 2 steps right to the front of the mat. And so as you're folded forward at the front of the mat, take your hands onto your calf and your hamstring. Just give a little bit of a massage. a free releasing of the tightness of the muscles. Your knees can still be gentle, a gentle bend to it, just to ensure that you're not a knee strain. Enjoy this massage. And then again, place your hands onto your hips, knees gentle, and hinge to standing upright. Come to standing upright, lift your shoulders up again towards your ears, glide them back and down, and close your eyes. And actually with your eyes closed, bring the inner edges of your feet together. So you have a little peek down. So you have the inner edges of your feet, your inner ankles. Then actually have a gaze forward to ensure that your jawbone is horizontal, your neck is long, and then close your eyes. So you can always take your feet a little farther apart if you're feeling a little, the balance isn't 100% today. And then open your eyes. I want you to go onto your right tippy toes. So you've got still your left leg is vertical sole of your foot. Now from here, you take your arms out a little bit towards the side, and I want you to see if you can move your ankle. So you lift your front leg, move your ankle in a circular direction, but go the opposite of what you normally do. So if there's discomfort onto your heels, then you can just have more weight onto the balls of your feet, okay? And then maybe just your heel rocking side to side. So finding a focal spot for balance. And then perhaps see how high you can lift your front bent knees, still moving into your ankles in a funny direction. You can also have your hand onto a wall or a chair. And then lower your foot down, take your opposite foot and give it a little shake. And we're just going to change sides. So look down, all four sides of your right foot anchored. They go onto your opposite leg, your front toes onto the mat. Find a place of balance, either with the support through the hands or not, and then your foot floats up. First start turning it in a circular motion and then just go the other way. As you know, we have a habit. So bringing in the stillness of your standing ankle with the movement of your lifted one, and then maybe lifting of your knee a little bit higher. Remember to breathe. As soon as you have a balance, we forget to breathe. So have a big breath in. A sigh upon your exhale. Take your foot down to the mat and shake your opposite foot away. And then bring yourselves back into mountain pose. So standing tall. Soft bending of your knees. Sweep your arms forward and right up to the sky. And on your exhale, hinge yourselves forward and down. So straightening of the legs, hands hang down. And actually take your hands right to your mat and take yourselves back into child's pose. So child's pose are your toes together, your knees apart, and your head hangs down. Now in doing so, I want you to take one fist on top of the other and your forehead to rest. Doing whichever variation of a child's pose, as you know, with the happiness of your knees. And see if you can just direct a few breaths into the back of your body. Now extend your arms now forward, and we're going to walk side to side. So staying in child's pose, arms forward, walk your hands over towards the left. Now remember, your right sitting bone stays onto your right heel, and then stack your left hand on top of your right, or your right hand on top of your left. Now let's change sides. So walk your hands back onto the front center of the mat, and then over towards the right. Eventually your left hand on top of your right. And so remember, there's that super magnet ensuring that your left heel and your left sitting bone stays together, or your buttocks stays together. And then walk your hands forward. And I'm going to get you to bring yourselves back into a sitting pose. Your legs are straight towards the front of the mat. So just as we had before. So if you have a strap, you can use a strap or not. We're going to go into Navasana, which is boat pose. So we're all going to get on the boat. So bend your knees and have your into this sort of angle position with your hands behind the back of your thighs or your strap, depending on how happy or active your core is. And then go onto your tippy toes. And then see if you can lift your legs up so that your shins are horizontal, or your hands, whichever way you choose. Now, move your chest towards your thighs and your shoulder blades together, so you're holding at that posture. Breath in, breath out. Let's do it again. In. And on your exhale, bring the soles of your feet together, your knees apart, and just softly hang forward and down. And then take a few lovely breaths into the front of your body. Yes, at the back of your body. Bring yourselves back into sitting right and place your hands on your outer knees to direct them back into center. And we're going to hop on the boat again. So onto your tippy toes. You can either have your hands or a strap behind the back of your legs. And then step by step, bring your feet up so that your shins are horizontal. So you're directing your thighs towards your chest, but at the same time, your chest towards your thighs. And then see if you can extend your arms forward. So even though your fingers are forward, your shoulder blades are back. Remember to breathe. Breath in. Breath out. See if you can take your right leg and work on straightening. Remember to breathe. Keep your core activated. Hands are strapped behind the back of your leg. And lower your shin down so it's horizontal. And this time, your opposite leg straightens, heels up. Breathe. So full breath into your nose. Sigh onto your exhale. And then soles of your feet together, knees apart. Drop down again. Complete release. And then bring yourselves up. Knees together and extend forward. So we're going to go into, I'll get everyone, we'll do it together and then you choose, if you choose this or thread the needle. So everyone take yourselves back into table pose. Okay, so just where we've been before. Now, I want you to tilt both of your feet over towards the left side of the mat. So you have a little bit of an angle. So your toes towards the side. And then I want you, side that you put your feet, I want you to cross that knee behind the other. So your knees are together, your feet are apart, and take yourselves back. So if your knees aren't happy, you can go into thread the needle with this one. So you can have your head onto a firm block, maybe on towards your mat. I mean, if your hips are quite open, maybe you're sitting down. Just find that nice little tight spot. We're going to say nice because we're happy in the opening of the buttocks. Or again, thread the needle, depending on which is more comfortable. And then find that really tight spot and give it a big sigh. So you're drawing your breath in. See if you can breathe into every cell of your body. And a complete sigh on your exhale, releasing the tightness of the hip. And as you know, if the pose seems to start to tighten with discomfort, then just come out a little bit. Just sort of do a scan of the body, how it feels, and then making an adjustment. We're going to come out. So if you're in thread the needle, stay lying on the mat. If you have one knee in front of the other, then unwind. Take yourselves back into table pose and sway your hips side to side. So if you're in thread the needle, have your feet on the outer edge of your mat. A little bit of windshield wiping. And then we'll change sides. So this time, that angle, taking both of your feet to the opposite side of the mat, and then crossing the knee, one behind the other, feet apart. And then just very slowly, opposed to diving down, slowly lower yourselves down. Use the assistance, one fist on top of the other. Perhaps you're having to have your palms down, your arms straight. Just a little, I would say, an adventure. Finding that position allows the opening. So as you have the opening, make sure your thigh muscles aren't tightening and gripping. You're allowing the ease to your legs, softness of your upper body, and being happy with the breath into the tight spot. Or in thread the needle, you know, your variations. Let's all share a complete breath in. Sigh on your exhale. And then unwind. We're all going to be laying down onto the mat. So you can first sway your hips side to side, that movement. And then I'll get everyone to lie down onto the mat and have your strap with you. If you don't have a strap, you can use your hands for support. So as you land your back, knees in towards your chest, just as we had done at the very beginning. We are lying onto our back, but with your hands onto your knees, I want you to move them. So you can move your knees forward and back. Do big circles, putting the juice into those joints. Give it a sense of almost like a little dance. Now, I'm going to get you to keep your right knee into your chest and place a strap under the ball of your foot. Keep your left knee bent, but your left foot down. And then either your hands on the back of your leg if you don't have a strap, or the strap, I'm going to slowly work on straightening of your right leg to vertical. So if you have a strap, I want you to walk your hands up the strap as close as you can towards your foot, and then slide down. So your hands just slide down the strap, and your hand settles. So in the strap, never reaching or gripping, more holding in the assistance. And then always lots of options. Your left knee, you can keep it bent, or you can start to lower it down, or maybe lowering your left leg right to the mat so you have that 90-degree angle, or bent, just depending on your lower back. Eyes closed. In this position, it's the ease of your eyes sinking deep. And just enjoying. And any variation you choose with this one. So in this pose, you're always directing your heel towards the sky and your toes towards your shin. Just give that straightening and stretching from the sole of your foot, the back of your heel, your Achilles tendon, your calf, right towards the back of your hamstrings. But making any adjustment need be, and enjoying the weightlessness on your lifted leg. As you're lengthening the back of your leg, make sure your thigh muscles aren't gripping. So you have the straightness and strength of your bones to hold the alignment. You give the opportunity of the ease not just through your thighs, but also towards your hamstrings, your calf, right towards your foot. Slowly with your breath, perhaps each time allowing a little bit more opening of the back of your leg, maybe a little bit more straightening of it, maybe your toes a little more towards your nose. Sort of find the adjustment. So it's like a slow little journey. The initial tightness with the breaths, just the familiarity. The longer you hold a pose, the more the layers of the muscles release. And then let's change sides. So if you have a strap, just change placing the ball of your foot onto your opposite foot onto the strap. Or if you've got your fingers interwoven behind the back of your legs, just change. But if you have your fingers interwoven behind the back of your leg, interweave them the funny way. Just have a balance. And then again, that slow breathing. Initially taking yourselves into the pose that you're feeling the tightness. And then, of course, just staying there in the calmness of your breath to allow the releasing of the tightness of those muscles. And as you know, you might be changing throughout this pose, maybe just a millimeter, maybe a couple inches. Just slowly working on the lengthening of the back of the leg. And then your opposite leg, so your right, can you either have it bent or maybe lowering it all the way down. But as you know, focusing more on strengthening and stretching the back of your lifted leg. A little check-in to make sure the back of your skull is onto your mat. So sometimes even opening of your eyes, ensure it's directly towards the ceiling or the sky. And then close. Just make sure your chin isn't more towards your chest or up towards the sky. So just make sure that all four sides of your neck is of equal length. As if we were sitting tall. This time we're just laying long. Now in coming out, I want you to drop both of your knees in towards your chest. And actually place your hands on the back of your hamstrings so your knuckles will be behind the back of your knees and just rock side to side. And then place your feet down. So your knees will stay bent. You can take yourselves back into the thread the needle. So just place your right ankle onto your left knee. We're just going to do this pose with a twist. So take your arms out to the side. And then I want you to very slowly twist over towards the left. So only going so far. You can always take your left hand, your left knuckle, and tuck it into your outer left hip, left thigh to give you a little bit of support, or perhaps the full twist. Just ensure that there's no tugging or discomfort through your spine. This is just giving that initial or the final releasing through the back of your body with a twist, and just using whichever variation or support need be. It is actually quite nice having your fist underneath your outer thigh. Just to give enough support that the stress isn't feeling strain. You've got that support so you can allow that ease. And then come back up to center and lift both of your legs up to vertical and go for a little run. Either forward, or running back. And then we'll change sides. So this time, take your opposite ankle, so throw your left ankle into your right knee, arms out. Again, you can use your right fist to support your outer hip, thigh, and then that settling. How's your breath? See if you can take your breath right towards your belly. Even a little expansion. And then the loveliness of a sigh on your exhale. To release any tightness that's perhaps hiding but built up through the torso. And let's unwind. And as before, lift your legs up to the sky and go for a little walk or a little run or a quick stroll. And then before we go into Shavasana, go into Happy Baby. So bend your knees. So your thighs are towards the side of your body. Take your elbows between your knees and then hold onto the outer edges of your feet. Just a little rocking, Happy Baby. And then whenever you're ready, get you to lower your legs down and lowering, extending for Shavasana. So laying long on your mat. Take your feet a little farther apart. And allow the softness. There'll be a gentle space underneath the back of your knees. So your thighs are relaxed. Your arms rest by your side. Your nose up to the sky. And even have a swallow to ensure that the front and the back of your neck is of equal length. Back surface of your shoulder blades onto the mat. And then just the gentle rise and lowering of your belly with your breath. The weightlessness on your feet, the space between your toes, and the strength of the muscles in your legs. Your muscles just resting onto the strength of your bones, opening through your hips, length of your body, and settling of your heart to your spine, and the smoothness of your skin across your face, and the stillness of your eyes underneath your eyelids. Awareness with your breath, but stillness of your body. Stillness of your body and the awareness of your presence. And then the gentle, slow movements of your fingers and your toes, feeling nothing but the air. Stay laying long and have a complete breath in, breathing into all four sides of your body. Sigh on your exhale. And then gently roll over onto your right side. So your knees will be bent, your head resting onto your upper arm. Hug your knees to your chest. A little bit of space and freedom through the back of your body. And so breathe into the back of your body. And then press your left hand down and bring yourselves back into sitting upright. Cross your legs the funny way, opposite shin in front of the other than what you're used to. Moving of your buttocks to allow the settling of your sitting bones and your hands just resting onto your thighs. Lift your shoulders up. Lifting, ascending of your spine, and then descending of your shoulder blades back and down. And gently bring your palms together and into heart center. And then the soft bowing of your head, bowing to the light within. I love the man who can smile in trouble, who can gather strength from distress and grow brave by the reflection. It's all of us. The breaths, the peace, the spirit, and for all of life we have. I wish you namaste.